was a patriot, he passed the trait to me. Dinner time, we'd converse about nation occasionally. What I learned from him in school really paved the way for me to join the military. And a soldier I came to be, prepared to fight for my country and all within its borders. I endured the training and I followed all my orders. Before the war I married and my daughter was conceived. And into the realm of heaven my father was received. Son, with what you've done, I couldn't die a prouder man. I replied, it's due to you that I'm what and how I am. He succumbed to cancer days after we spoke. In 8 months the Twin Towers turned to ashes and smoke. 6 months pregnant, my wife expects a child, and now the worst. When she's given birth I'll be gone halfway around the earth. Sure enough, I got word I'm going overseas. On road, a rush of thoughts and emotions came over me. I'm going to serve my country, though I hope to serve it well. Will I return alive and well from what is certain hell? In my mind I kept seeing the look before I left of a woman who was teary-eyed, sad and scared to death. The sounds of war distracted me from thoughts of wife and daughter, plus trying to dull my senses to the smell and sight of slaughter. My fellow troops were family and we had a job to do. Afghanistan was home of sorts until we saw it through. Logically I miss seeing my baby girl's arrival. I'm searching out for Taliban and fighting for survival. Seeing poverty, destruction, and the worst of humankind. Thinking how none of this shit's known in an infant human's mind. 5 months in, I'm injured in a blast from an improvised device. They couldn't keep the limb attached. My right arm was lost. 3 others lost their lives. There's a price to pay for freedom. Always the cost is high. I got the welcome of a hero when I finally made it home. Happy to see my family, but I didn't make it known. There was something going on in me, something that was wrong with me. Fronting like I'm strong, cause being honest would have honestly made me feel weak. Fuck it, I'm a soldier. I've handled heavy loads without a buckle in my shoulders. My wife needs her husband, my daughter needs her dad. But the wounds I had within were gaping and bleeding bad. So where a husband and a dad wasn't something either had. My wife tried to be patient, but I knew that she was mad. A shadow of my former self, I was the most erratic mess. Ate alive by survivor's guilt and post-traumatic stress. At times I wondered who was fortunate more. Was it really the one whose life was cut short in the war? Cause at least they have no memory of the torture and horror. They ain't on the porch with a 40 at 4 in the morn. My marriage, like the scotch in my glass, was on the rocks. My wife's beyond her wit's end and says she wants to walk. I'm trying to understand what you have gone through, believe me. But it ain't been easy for me neither, I'm leaving. I thought she would have gone on, she never said a thing. All she laid out on the table was her wedding ring. In hindsight I couldn't blame her cause I pushed her there. A drunken and distant husband was more than she could bear. I remember when returning home to her was in a prayer. And how I longed for the touch and scent of her skin and hair. Weeks spent in an empty house was eerie and strange. But to get back what I had needed serious change. So I told my wife the war haunts me like a poltergeist. And apologized for being closed off and cold as ice. Said before I bore it all with teardrops and eyes, there's a price to pay for freedom, always the cost is high. Thankfully the nightmares and flashbacks wouldn't last forever. Through therapy and treatment I had got my act together. It was an uphill battle to get past the pain. That hill was rocky and rugged like Afghan terrain. Both my wife and mother gave me love and support. That and my determination brought recovery forth. Eventually we had a son and named him after a friend who was killed in action in the same blast we were in. But could I really pass the patriotic passion to him when our leaders are leading the country to massive ruin? When the system is fucked up and stacks the deck against the lower class while these crooked ass banksters cash a check? I felt less of a soldier and more of a pawn. And this war on terror was just a deplorable con. Like what the fuck did I fight for? Why did I lose an arm? When national security measures just do us harm. There's a price to pay for freedom, but freedom's a party line told to keep the war machine going and profit margins fine. Ain't a bastard more unloyal than one who kills their own to strip others of their liberties and capture foreign oil. No, I didn't want to believe what I had come to. Even now I wish that what I believe in is untrue, cause it would mean I probably put bullets in some who I may have had justification to put a gun to. And it would mean that all the harsh criticism I've had for my country is baseless suspicion and cynicism. I'd rather be that, but I've taken a look around and found that what I speak on are matters of fact. What to do except to make the best of life and hope we transcend our ways of present time, and that the silly song and dance ends if the nation's fate doesn't lay in better hands. And there will be soldiers like me with more stories to tell.